Welcome to One-on-One with Expert Flyer. I'm your host, Lisa Kaslan, and today we're going to talk about a new app called AirHelp, and I have the CEO and co-founder with me to talk about it, Henrik Zillmer. So happy to have you, Henrik. Thanks for joining.
Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, and true to form, you're at the airport, hustling away on consumer behalf.
Yes, out there meeting air passengers, making sure they know their rights.
Good, good. So listen, you recently announced this new application, and I think our subscribers would love to hear about it. So talk a little bit about it.
Yes, so we've actually been working on this for many years. It's been 3 years in the making. But what we have built is a feature where you can log in with your email, and we can then find the flights that you have been on in the last 3 years. And by doing that, we can match it against all the flights that are eligible for compensation according to air passenger rights. And then tell you, hey, you were on a flight that was delayed 3 hours, and you are entitled to compensation. The airline may not have told you, but we can tell you, and we can also help you get it. So it's like having a little lawyer in your pocket that informs you if you have right to compensation.
That is really, really cool. So when you say, so I guess you're sending a text or an email, and then in terms of the helping part, how do you help them get it?
Yeah, so we send an email if we find a flight that's eligible. And in general, we also just keep you informed about your rights. It can be that you're entitled to other things, such as food or accommodation or transportation. And that's also something information we provide. But if you are entitled to cash, and here we're not talking about a voucher or miles on your account, but if you're entitled to cash, then we go and fill out a claim on your behalf, send it to the airline, and talk to the airline.
Wow.
And then get them to pay the compensation. And if they don't pay out, then we even go to court. So we take legal action if they don't want to follow the law. And that's our specialty, right? And we've done that more than 50,000 times, actually. So we've got quite some experience in suing airlines and making sure they follow the law.
They don't like you.
No, I'm probably the only guy who gets bumped on every flight.
You have to use a pseudonym from now on. Go under a different identity. That's really fascinating. So, in terms of cost to the user, what's the cost associated with the service?
Yeah, so the new feature is completely free. You can use it whenever you want, and we can tell you if you're entitled. It's like a lookup service. If you want us to go and claim the money on your behalf, then if we get the money, then we charge 25% success fee. So it's a no-win, no-fee. 25% if we get the money. If we don't get anything, you haven't paid anything. So very simple.
That is really, it's so ingenious. I love it. So in addition to this fantastic tool, your company also serves as an advocate for consumers as well. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. So this whole idea of AirHelp actually came 5 years ago, where there was a law in Europe that said you were entitled to a lot of different things if the airline delayed you, but it was only 1% back then who actually knew that they had rights. So we saw it as an opportunity to go out and make sure that all air passengers are informed about their rights and make sure that the law actually works. And since then, we have been fighting to make sure airlines are following the law, but also to make sure that the Department of Transportation and also the European Commission of Transportation has been aware about how airlines have been treating their passengers, and also make sure that there's laws in place that are consumer-friendly and not only favoring the airlines. Mm-hmm. So we have different, we've been touring around on different travel conferences talking about air passenger rights, and we've also set up an organization that's called Air Passenger Rights, or ARPA, and that we're trying to do that, promote consumer-friendly air passenger rights all over the world.
Very good, very good. So if we were going to, put this in context in terms of your service and how it might help somebody, let's say we have a lot of business travelers that use our service, Expert Flyer. So let's say you're a frequent business traveler, maybe taking 3 to 4 air trips per month. Potentially, on average, how much do you think that person might save per year based on delays and all of those issues in 1 year? How much might they save or gain?
Yeah, so it is all about probability, and it's not all delayed or canceled flights that are entitled to compensation. For example, if it's a weather delay, then it's not the fault of the airline, and therefore you're not entitled to anything. So that's just tough luck. But if it's a technical problem or it's a cabin crew shortage or maybe air traffic control, then it is the airline's fault, and then we can get compensation. Statistically speaking, it's only 1 flight out of 100 that is entitled to compensation. So if you're a business traveler, maybe you clock in 100 flights a year. Well, then you have 1 every year. But it works 3 years back, so you can actually go back in time still and claim. So if you use our service today, you've been flying a lot the last 3 years, then of course the likelihood is much higher.
Gotcha. Okay, well, fair enough. And we certainly don't want that to be a high number anyway, right? So just so people understand, just so people understand, what are the conditions under which you are entitled to some sort of reimbursement?
Yes, so they are different from state to state or country to country, from region to region. There are many different laws, and that is why it is also very difficult for the air passenger or the customer to understand what are their rights. Right? This is why we exist, because we're not lawyers, all of us, and finding out what the law say in my particular case, in my country, that's difficult. So that's where we come in, and here we have then aggregated all the laws. But the magic mark you need to understand is 3 hours. The flight needs to be delayed more than 3 hours before the laws kick in.
Okay, gotcha. All right, good enough. So you have another interesting feature that's a little more on the fun side, right? Talk about that. You have a trip mapping feature, I think, yeah?
Yeah, so in addition to, of course, offering our help getting you compensation, then we have also made a feature where we then display all the flights that you have been on in the last 3 years on a big travel map. And here you can then see where you've been, which countries, which airports, what's your favorite airline, how much time you've spent in the sky. That's a little scary. Also, how much time you've waited in security or watched safety demonstrations on board, or how much money you've spent on air tickets. Right? So all this information that you as a business traveler probably never thought about, but here we, in 10 minutes, show you everything, and that gives you a little bit of intelligence about your flying habits. So very fun to see and very fun to share to your friends and compare in that way.
Very, very cool. All right. Is there anything else we should know that I haven't asked before we let you go?
I think you should try it out. It's, as I said, works 3 years back. So you get all the past flights, and maybe there is some hidden money in your inbox. You never know.
It's a good idea. All right. So if people want to learn more, what's the website?
It's called airhelp.com. And when you log in, you can see a map saying My Travel Map, and that's where you get all your cool stats.
Excellent. Listen, Henrik, thank you so much. This is a wonderful interview, great information, and hope to have you back soon.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.